Good morning, stylist from the back room. What is going on? Good morning, John.
Eddie, how are you this morning, my friend?
Grateful. I'm very grateful this morning.
Grateful. I like that word. So as we start every week, Eddie, how's your week been going?
Inspiring. I tell you what, man. All right. I gotta. This stylist from the back room podcast has been so much better received than I imagined. It is so different compared to what everybody else is doing out there. It's a clear, concise. We talk about industry news. We talk about this. We have discussions on topics that are relevant. We actually review techniques, education, and products, and we keep stylists motivated, right? The other thing that we do very different, and I keep hearing this feedback, is that we are accessible. Our HTB private group, it is awesome. We know everybody in that group. It is
Right.
really fun when somebody comes into the office and I'm in our conference room, in our studio teaching a class, and somebody walks by. Oh, I didn't want to interrupt your class, but I want to say hi real quick. Like, it is a really cool feeling, right? And then for people watching and subscribing, and then they come to the show, like we were at the beauty show, and people stop by and they say hi and they get to talk to us. It is fun. It is
It's
really,
awesome.
really fun.
It's awesome. It really
So
is.
it is
It's
really
great.
inspiring to be able to do this.
I was since you brought this up, at the show, I was approached by someone that I've known my whole 30 years, and I hadn't seen them in a decade. And they came up to me, they're like, "John, how you doing? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Hey, that's a pretty neat thing you guys are doing on the web. That's a cool podcast." And it hit me, and I was like, "Oh my God," and it's really great. And you know what? The coolest part about it all is that everybody that we come in contact with that's aware of us is so awesome, and they're passionate about the industry the way we are. It's great to have like that what's the term, Eddie? Help me. That mind meld where we're all moving in the same direction. Sometimes I feel like you and I are headed off in the same direction off a cliff, but yeah, no, I agree with you. And we're both very fortunate. In the gratitude vein, so grateful. I'm grateful for really Eddie, and this we're gonna have an awe moment for everything that you do, buddy. That intro, you did that. Everything that you do behind the computer is just amazing because, as we've established, I'm someone who types with his forehead. So
it's a lot of work, but it's been fun, man. It's been fun, teaching the classes, like this whole week has just been, every single day has been a program, has been a class. And it's really interesting to see, people coming in and then they're like, "Oh, we were watching. Oh yeah, you say stuff like that on the podcast." I'm like, "Yes, I say stuff like that. It's not just for the podcast."
Well, the podcast is a little cleaner version than what we have going on in the classroom.
It's so true, it's so true. So that's really what it is. And I love our accounts. I love the people that we work with, and I'm excited to see all the new people that are going to be coming into our little world.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
That's how my week has been. I've had a very zen week.
Okay, well, let's keep your zen moment going. Should we get into a little bit of news?
Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to talk about some summer hair trends, okay?
Oh, fun.
You ready?
Okay.
You want haircuts or color first?
You know what? I've been doing haircuts first all week. Let's do haircuts first.
Haircuts first. Okay. Yeah. So first things first is bold layers.
Bold layers. Okay.
Bold layers are coming back, are the trend, especially because bold layers can help you with volume. It can help you with movement, and they're very versatile. Well, hold on, my computer. There we go. And they're very versatile. You're creating volume, you're creating movement in the hair with layers, and easy for your client to style. They can go sleek with them. They can go messy with them. The messy look is very, very in. So that's what we're looking at right now is bold layers is one of them. Whoa. Next is the shaggy styles are coming back. Now, not the shag of the 60s. You know,
I was like smiling over here. I got all excited.
Yeah, because you've always had a thing for Mom Brady. I know it because you always wanted to be part of the Brady bunch.
That's right.
Peter would have been hanging upside down on the swing set trying to get taller. You would have been wrapped yourself around him and tried to stretch him. I know you. So also with the shaggy styles that we got coming, the textured hair is becoming very big again. Once again, with a shag, you can get awesome volume. And it's another haircut where you could go sleek and very, very frame to the face, and it could bring more you keep it very high fashion, or you can take it to a messy, that very lived in look that is popular. And there isn't a lot of maintenance to it. You can go either way with it.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's a very versatile haircut. It would work. Who would a shag haircut not work for? What kind of hair type or what kind of face shape would not be ideal for a shag? Right? Because I could sit here, like I was about to start listing out, oh, the shag is so versatile. If you have hair like this, if you have hair like that, it's such a long list. It would be easier to say who it's not for because the shag could almost, like in my mind, it could work on anybody, on anything.
Right.
Like any type of hair, any face shape.
Right.
Some variation of a shag could work for anybody.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think for almost anybody, I think if you have like a really wide face though, or a bigger jawline, I don't think it would work that great because unless it was a long shag where you can narrow it out.
But see, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You would just do a longer.
Let me take that back. I take that whole statement back. I take everything back.
But that's the versatility of it. That it really is a cool haircut. Right. And that's the whole thing. With the styles nowadays, you don't have to be so specific to the look itself. It doesn't have to be so short and choppy and fringy. Right. You can do variations, modernize it, customize it, make it your own.
Dude, you just hit on the best part about what we do. It really is. Because you could take a single technique, hair cutting, hair color technique, and you can twist it and you can put your own artistic interpretation into it, and you've created a look. That's the coolest freaking thing about what we do.
It is what we do.
You technically get to reinvent the wheel every time you pick up your shears. Every time you mix up color, the color is the color, but what you do with it, you're really reinventing the wheel. I think it's the coolest thing ever. That's the coolest part about what we do. Plus, you get that instant gratification when the client's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, no rush. That is the ultimate rush, is it not?
It's what makes us come back each and every week to do another week of client.
I got a story to go with that. So I have a client. She was highlighted forever, right? And she goes, I want to change. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, I want to be Cowboy Copper.
Oh,
and
cool.
I went, okay, Cowboy Copper, cool. So I was like, and she had pictures on her phone, which and that helps so much, And I said, okay. So we did a variation of Cowboy Copper. She looked great. I mean, she bounced out of the shop. She goes home and she's standing in the kitchen and her husband's sitting at the table and she goes, well, what do you think? You know what he says to her? I liked your hair longer. Not a word about the color. Not a word. totally killed her vibe, you know. But she calls me and she goes, you know, she's like ranting and raving about, you know, her husband. Not that she hated the color, because her friends loved it. Ranting and raving about her husband. So finally, when she let him know, he was like, "Oh yeah, I really like it," but too freaking late, right? So hopefully, hopefully this Mother's Day he makes it up to her with something really shiny and expensive. Because, but yeah, you know, it just totally killing that vibe, you know, the vibe. But it's a cool vibe when you see him bounce out of here. There's nothing you can control when they get home, but right. Hey, you've been caught in that trap, and I've been caught in that trap too.
So many times somebody will come back in and tell me they hate the color, and you know they don't hate the color. They hate the fact that the person that was important to them didn't notice or didn't give them the reaction that they were hoping that they were going to get.
Right.
And it really comes down to managing expectation. And it's something that we talk about in our classes all the time.
Right.
The power that we hold behind the chair, we literally hold somebody's self-confidence in the palm of our hands. It's with all the goofing off that we do, with all the fun that we have, we always have to ultimately remember that we have great responsibility. And part of that responsibility is not only doing the service correctly and properly, making that person feel good about themselves and confident, but we also have to set them up for when they leave to how they should be able to retain that confidence.
Right.
Because everything is subjective. They look themselves in the mirror, they like the way they look. That doesn't mean everybody else out there is going to notice, or even if they do notice, is going to like what they see. And everybody's going to have an opinion, yeah?
Right.
So we, in addition to making sure once they leave, they're doing that hop out, you know, because they got that little bounce, they got that little strut going. That boost in that confidence, we have to prepare them that no matter what anybody says to them, it's going to be their life changing. You know, you remind me of that young girl at the show, you know, that we interviewed. And then when you told me she came back the next day, you know, just to show that her hair was done, right? And you're telling me like she was so happy and she was crying. But the point was, during that interview, I didn't try to sell her anything. All I told her was, if I can give you a hope, if I can show you a way, if I can promise you that this can change your life, would you be willing to try it? And would you be willing to do that experiment for at a minimum 2 weeks? I psychologically was preparing her that if she didn't see the result the first day, or if she didn't see the level of result that she was hoping for, or anybody else told her, yeah, we don't see any difference. Yeah, you did it once. You got to keep at it, you know?
Right.
So I mentally prepared her. Now, she did see a result way sooner than 2 weeks. But then now that's in her mind. If she got that level of result instantly, how much more could it be in 2? And by 2 weeks, it becomes a habit anyways.
Right.
So now that young woman is set up for success moving forward. And I hope she's out there enjoying those curls. Yeah. Because those curls look freaking, I know what those curls can look like. I didn't get to see it the next day. You did?
It looked great. It looked great. And she was so happy, and she was looking
for
you. And I think she had an engagement ring. She wanted to marry you.
Shut up. But that's the whole point, you know, to be able to see that smile. That's really what that's about.
Right.
You know?
And all her girlfriends were around her and like, oh God, you know, it was awesome. It was awesome. You hit such a home run with that. That was fantastic. So
what do you got for color?
Huh?
What do you got for color?
Ooh. You ready? Because really what's old is what's new again. So really what they're looking at is sun-kissed highlights are going to come back.
Come on.
Sun-kissed highlights. Okay. 3 to 4 levels lighter than the natural. Right? So that I just got back from vacation look is really what is really what's big. As far
as what that means is baby lights, people.
Baby lights, and not bleaching it up to level 10, because we're all programmed for that. And yeah, agreed. Toning it down is a lot easier than trying to lighten those highlights again. I get that. But with that being said, and then the overall picture for summer, is healthy, nourished hair. That's the look. Healthy, nourished hair.
You know what you did say? So, okay. What is that called? A throwback, a flashback, a callback?
TV, yeah, throwback.
Throwback, right?
Yeah.
So throwback to one of the, it was mid-January, something like that. You were doing projection. It was during, we haven't done statistics in a while. You should come back with some statistics in the next week or two.
Well, you made fun of me with the statistics. So,
but you know what, bro? Look, you did a projection that this year, 2024, was going to be the year of treatments and healthier hair. Yep. And now here we are in where are we? In May. And you're talking about the overall picture being healthier hair. I mean, it's what you called months ago.
Have you noticed that all of a sudden all the hair care lines are coming out with scalp scrubs and taking care of the scalp first?
Okay, so ignorantly, I'm going to say no, I have not, because that's all we do behind the chair anyways. That's all I preach for 30 freaking years being in this industry. Well, how long have I, 25, 30 years, something like that, I've been in this business? That's all I've been preaching from day one. It's how I built my clientele. Right. Was I may not be the best person, I may not be the nicest person, but damn it, you are going to have the best hair you've ever had. I guarantee that much.
Right. So yeah, a lot of like the over-the-counter hair care products lines are coming out with scalp detoxifiers, scalp scrubs. Really getting a lot, sloughing off a lot of that, all that buildup to be able to let that scalp do what it's supposed to do, and that's grow healthy, happy hair.
You know what? If you know how you always talk about if you're not selling to your clients, somebody else will.
Right.
We can't get upset at over-the-counter products. If somebody is purchasing over-the-counter products, and if these companies are coming up with that many things, that is a flag to show you that people are needing and wanting this. These companies are reactionary. They don't proactively decide everybody's going to have crap hair all of a sudden. Therefore, let's start making things because we know people are going to have crap hair. They are just looking at trends and they're saying everybody's been doing this to their hair. The fallout, the consequences in the next year or two, if you sustainably keep doing this, you're going to have this. So let's start preparing for that.
Right.
I think that's wild.
So healthy, nourished hair. That's our
healthy, nourished hair. All right.
That's the call to action for the summer.
I think the discussion needs to be had with people appreciating what we do. That's why they purchase over-the-counter stuff. That's why they don't buy from you directly. They don't fully appreciate, they don't fully have respect, or they don't fully have that gratitude towards you. Or vice versa. Maybe we, the hairdressers, the hairstylists, the operators, whatever we want to refer to ourselves as, don't have enough gratitude, respect, or consideration towards our clients. Maybe we just spend too much time goofing off during the processing time. Or maybe we're just trying to rush through a blow dry too quickly. Maybe we're too worried about who's coming next on our appointment book instead of paying attention to who's in the chair right now.
Well, I see, this is a very hot button topic for me. I used to work with a colorist, and we fought about this all the time. And let me tell you the story, okay? He would mix the color for his first 3 to 4 clients and line it up. Have it mixed. He was a bottle baby, so he just wouldn't shake it up. He would just leave it.
Okay.
Which I thought
he had a bandolier and he had each one of the bottles loaded in.
He'd have them lined up in the back room. Also, because he was a bottle baby, so he could thumb it like there's no tomorrow.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
boom, 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 boom. I mean, 5-minute application, boom, right? And okay, go sit down. Next one, boom, 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 boom. He'd have them lined up like Rockettes. And then also he could go and sit his ass down in the back room. And then there was no time spent with the client, and there was no gratitude for that client sitting in the chair.
Well, but I have a question though. He actually spent 5 minutes applying, or however long he spent applying. What was that conversation during that application?
Okay, I can't mention names because
no names. I'm just saying, like,
the conversation was about anything but their hair.
But their hair.
No conversation. He would put that color on, bing, 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 and then boom. So, and you could see the look on the client's face of, they're there for that, also that interaction. And you're the professional. Why are you not talking to them about their hair? It's like your doctor coming in. You have an infection, and your doctor comes in, doesn't talk about the infection, but it's talking about your prostate instead. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But anyway, and then because you can see that, when people feel like they're valued, they show it back to you other ways, right? So when he wouldn't get tipped by the client, this stylist, the following, he would keep a mental note. Guy was smart as hell. I mean, really smart guy. But the client would come back in, sit in his chair, and he would be like, "Did you not like your color last time?" And she'd be like, "No, it was good." Well, then why didn't you tip me?
Okay.
What? And it was a room. There was a couple other operators in there and clients, and you could just feel that whole mood shift. How would you? I mean,
because it makes it looking awkward. Yeah.
That's not that gratitude to that. I mean, granted, you're not required to tip. Okay, when clients tip me, I am very thankful. If they don't, okay, they paid their bill, right?
And they rebooked, and they're coming back again. So
exactly.
That's all. That's all you can ask for.
But I mean, me personally, I thank my clients up and down. Usually, I send them a quick either text or email thanking them, and also it's twofold, because if they didn't rebook when they left, I remind them to rebook. But it's just my way of showing them thanks for walking through my door, and being grateful for that they're here. And I mean, because, well, first off, they keep me busy, which keeps me out of trouble. But to thank someone for their patronage, I mean, there's how many salons in between here and your house? It's and they choose you because of what you can do and what you can do with these, but they have a lot of choices, and a little gratitude goes a long way, to your point.
You've seen me behind the chair. I never stress out about running late. I never stress out about running on time. I never stress out about running ahead of time. Even when I used to book on the 15-minute, sometimes I would double book on the 15 minutes. I mean, you remember those days. Still, whatever little time or a lot of time you spend with somebody, it's got to be for something, right? There was a lot of clients who never knew anything about me personally, but professionally, they knew everything. Like they were my walking resume. Like they could recite better than I could everything I had accomplished in the industry, and that was really the thing. And then, so that was like the one half of my conversation, was everything new that I was doing, or everything that I had done, or everything that I was planning on doing in the industry. Then the other half of the conversation was their hair, how I need them to maintain their hair based on what I am about to do or in the middle of doing to them. to get them to the end goal from our original consultation. How do you want to look like? What is your style going to be? And it was just that repetitive conversation every single time. The reason why I would brag about what I've done or what I'm planning on doing or what I just learned or what I'm planning on learning and stuff like that, your client wants to know that you're still alive. You still got that fire burning in you. You're not burnt out. And it's exciting. It's inspiring. Then you are the stylist, that they want to go to.
Right.
Because you are that stylist in your area.
Right.
And then keeping them on track and maintaining with them, you're becoming, I'm going to loosely say, you are the equivalent of a mentor or a life coach or a cheerleader. You are, or your doctor, you are making sure that they are on track and they are following the prescription or the direction or the regimen, however you want to refer to it as, for the benefit of their own hair, for the longevity and the health and the benefit of their own, hair. That dedication is showing that you have gratitude towards that person without even saying thank you. You are showing that person you are invested in them. That means you do appreciate them. You do respect them. And then that person taking what you are saying and following your instruction, that is their unspoken body language of showing you that they are invested in you and they appreciate what you're doing as well too, because they are coming back. And if they are coming back and they're coming back each and every time and over the course of years, what more you can ask for? You have built a client relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to upset people. Oh, they're our guests. They're not our clients. I don't care how you want to say it.
Whatever verbiage
you want to use. Because to me, the reason why I refer to it as clients, I will never refer to my clientele as a guest because of my interpretation of what that means. And it's going to be different than anybody else's. But to me, a client is a person who's coming to you to receive goods or services that are going to be mutually beneficial to both parties through the exchange of a monetary or bartering exchange of something for the long-term mutual agreement and benefit to the person, coming in to receive said services. That to me is a client relationship. A guest to me is you got a high value person, a VIP, a very important person arriving at your place.
Right.
And that person should be pampered and that person should be cared for and taken care of and be made to feel, great and superior and all of that. So yeah, I understand why stylists refer to, their clientele as guests. It's two different mindsets of looking at it from two different versions of business.
Right.
I'm looking at it from the monetary side. I'm not looking at it from the creative or the I'm looking at it from the business side, purely a business transactional side of things.
Right.
I'm still doing it with respect. I'm still doing it with equal gratitude. I believe I am. So you just have to decide which version of that you are, because those are the two versions so far as I know.
Right.
But as long as you're doing it with humbleness and respect and there is equal, gratitude being shown, both ways, I think it's a win-win for everybody involved. That's my opinion on it.
I agree with you. And you know what? There is no right or wrong to that verbiage. Okay. But once again, is whether you consider them a guest or a client or two things. Number one, they're not your friend. Okay. You may hang out, you may have a drink with them every now and then, but that's a subject for another day. That is a complete another rant. Okay. And number two, be thankful that they're sitting there. Be thankful that they're coming in and wanting to give you, their patronage, and a thank you, and maybe just a quick note or something along those lines, from a postcard all the way to just texting them and saying, "Hey, thank you for coming in. you got any problems, give me a call, or something like that. It takes 2 seconds out of your day to thank that person for being in your chair and showing gratitude. And I think that goes a long way to also building your business. So, my friend, today we're going to be talking about K-tips, if I remember correctly, according to my notes. And we have an amazing little video to show you guys. And you may recognize the guy doing the voiceover. And I just want to put that up to everybody to notice it, because you did such a phenomenal job on this video.
Shut up.
Wait, hold on. And Aaron, we have Aaron who says hello. So say hello to Aaron.
Aaron. Hello.
Aaron.
Good morning.
Is that up on your screen?
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
Yep.
So now.
Hello, Aaron. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron. All right, guys. So here's the world premiere of Eddie's hidden bond video.
Put me on the spot here. How do I play this?
Uh-oh, it's broken.
It's broken. All right. The zero trace bond technique was developed by Sandy Donafee, a master hair extensionist and national educator for She Hair Extensions, through her extensive experience from performing thousands of services and certifying stylists over 25 years. The 7th generation of our keratin bond enhancements has evolved into our thinnest bond yet, requiring even less heat than previous versions. This advancement makes the zero trace bond method our latest technique for applying hair extensions. Over the past 50 years, She Hair Extensions has been at the forefront of the industry, distributing over 1 million bonds weekly to more than 80 countries. Our technique uses the gentlest heat to warm, rather than melt, our uniquely thin bonds. The zero trace bond is designed to be applied from underneath the hair section, making the attachment area invisible. This innovative method ensures a more seamless and natural integration while keeping the bond secure and concealed. A common challenge with traditional keratin bond applications is that bond typically wraps over and under the hair section, which can make the top half of the bond visible, an undesirable effect. Our new approach applies the bond exclusively from underneath the hair section. This not only maintains the stability of the attachment, but also keeps the bond hidden, with the natural hair visibly lying over it. This method protects the bond from the friction caused by brushing, collar retouching, and cleansing, enhancing the longevity of the extension. The bonds are so lightweight and discreet that clients often don't realize they have hair extensions. The smaller, more seamless design of the bonds leads to increased client satisfaction for a longer duration. Our streamlined application process is efficient and easy to master, making it ideal for today's extensionist. Be one of the first to master this revolutionary technique and offer your clients the latest in hair extension technology for comfort, durability, and unparalleled aesthetic appeal.
Woo! Well done, my friend. You did an awesome job on that. That's fantastic. K-tip bonds aside, what a great job on that video. I'm pretty sure everybody who sees this is gonna agree. On the upside, explain to me, because I've seen you do this a couple times. I've seen Sandy do it. Explain the zero trace.
The zero trace bond technique, it really is our newest iteration of our application method for keratin hair extensions. For forever, the challenge has been, how do you hide the bond? Anybody that does hair extension knows the number one rule is it doesn't matter where you put the hair extensions, as long as you have enough natural hair to cover it up, that's the rule. Then you could put the bond anywhere you want. The problem, like I was saying in the video, was, up until now, 90% of the industry rolls a keratin bond or a K-tip into the hair. When you roll it into the hair, you have no choice. You could try to keep the bond as small and as compact as you possibly can, but generally speaking, by having to roll the bond, you're physically stretching it out, making it longer. Okay. And in some cases, it could be uncomfortable. It could show through. You even if you think you have enough hair, the problem never presents itself up front. It's always when when the keratin bond grows out, when that K-tip is hanging there after, 2 months, 3 months of outgrowth, and it's in free fall, that's when it starts to show through the hair because now it's poking out, depending on how you brush or comb. So the idea of the zero trace is to minimize the footprint on the section of the hair that it's applied to. So you shouldn't be able to see it. You're using the natural hair to cover it up completely and seamlessly try to blend it into the natural hair. That's the whole idea of the zero trace.
Okay. Now with that application, if I remember correctly, was it earlier this week you sent me those pictures where you actually did a color meld with it? Did you not?
I did do a color melt. Yeah. Okay. I remember what you're talking about now. So sometimes all hair extensions come in different varieties. I personally use the She hair extensions. That's the brand that I use. SHE, She hair extensions. They have such a variety of different types of hair extensions. So they have solid colors. They have highlight, low light mixes. They have two-tone, which they refer to as chatouche, where the first third is one color, the bottom 2/3 is another color. They have rooted. The first inch or two is like a shadow root, and then the rest of it is darker. Okay. They have the balayage, so it's a softer highlighted effect, different than the mixes, which are more of a predominant contrast. They even have ombre as well too. And regardless of if you get the short, the wavy, or the curly texture, it doesn't matter which texture you get. A lot of these colors are available. Even the fantasy colors, they're all available. So one of the things about K-tips and keratin bonds is, a lot of people are like, why does the bond have to be colored? Why can't the bond area, the attachment area, be clear? Wouldn't that be easier to hide? And theoretically, that does make sense. If you had a clear bond, it would be easier to hide the bond because it would be see-through. It's clear, yeah? One of the issues with that, though, is a unique benefit of having K-tips is that you can color your hair while the bonds are attached because you're going to be, that is considered long-term wear. Keratin bonds, K-tips, can last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, depending on how fast or slow your hair grows, and also depending on how well your ability is to maintain that at home as the person wearing the hair extensions. Over the course of that time, shampoo, retail products, hair color, everything has pigment in it. Even if you guaranteed that none of your products or you didn't color your hair, so you weren't adding any pigment into your hair, simply the water source that you have in your shower has mineral deposits in it, or has softeners in it, has salts in it, has something in it, okay? So a clear bond will stain over time. And that stained color, whatever that's going to turn into, might be, it may not, it may not be a nice color. So keratin bonds are tended to be colored, pre-colored. The bonds are tended to be pre-colored. Now, when you have a highlighted color, going back to what your question was about the color melt, I was using a mix. So from anybody that uses She hair extensions, it was an M8/26. So it was a dark brown with a blonde. It was like basically in hair color, if you're going to convert it, it was a level 6 hair color with a level 10 blonde. Okay, hair color. So it's a very nice contrast, brunette with blonde. The bond is half brown, half blonde. So this way, the idea is once you apply it, and then you manipulate the bond, whether you do a flat wrap, a traditional flat wrap, or you roll it in, the bond gets merged, the colors get merged together, and then you got a combination of those two colors showing through. Then it only becomes dependent on how well you are able to apply that bond. But you're always going to see, what's that ice cream called? Is it called sherbet, that it's got the kaleidoscope of the different colors in there?
Oh yeah, rainbow sherbet.
Rainbow sherbet, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the best analogy that I can give. Depending on how well you are to apply the keratin bond or the K-tip, it's still going to look like that rainbow sherbet effect. You're going to see some of that brown show through. You're going to see some of that blonde show through. The idea of the zero trace, the way we teach the application technique and the method, you could take a bond that's split colored like that, brown and blonde, and in the way that we apply the zero trace bonding technique, it will, if you're applying it on somebody who's brunette, you would completely eliminate and hide the blonde part of that bond completely. So then you would only have the effect of the color of the hair coming through, highlighted and lowlighted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then conversely, if you took that same exact colored bond, brown and blonde, and you put it over a blonde person, the brown part of that bond would be completely hidden and only the blonde would show through. And then it would give you the nice highlight, low light effect of just the hair itself. Even as it starts to grow out over the course of 3, 4, 5, 6 months, however long you're going to be wearing them for, you wouldn't be worried that you'd end up looking like a checkerboard because you've got brunette and you got some blonde pieces showing through, or vice versa. You're a blondie and you got some weird brown spots showing through,
Right.
So that's the idea of that color melt. That's why I sent you that picture, to show you the power of the zero trace bonding technique, because we were going to be talking about it today. I wanted you to really have a visual of how powerful this really is.
Right. So with that being said, when is the next zero trace? When do we reach out to HTB? Because I really want to learn this. I've seen you do it, but I want you to spend time teaching me. So when do we just reach out to you, to HTB, and find out when the next zero trace class is, so people can get certified in this? Or
okay. I'm like, I didn't understand what you were asking. I'm like, aren't I going to see you on Monday anyways for class? I'll just show you on Monday. What are you talking about? We have class every freaking week. You're teaching somebody something every week. Like, I talk to you 13 times an hour. Yeah, no. Okay. So for those of you that are interested in learning the zero bond, technique, or excuse me, for those of you that are interested in learning the zero trace bonding technique, I fumbled my words. Yeah. Yes. Reach out to HTB Beauty, go to htbbeauty.com. And on our classes page, we are continually updating it with when we're having, our live in-person education. Okay. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is calling into HTB Beauty directly, 847-741-5000. Talk to Darren at the office. And, maybe a Monday or a Tuesday is not the ideal day for you. We can customize a date. We can come. Look, if you're willing to come on a Sunday, I'll come on Sunday and I'll teach you. If you're willing to come on a Friday afternoon, look, you laughed when I don't know if you recall, it was about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? You want to grab dinner? I'm like, I'm on my way to a salon to do a midnight class.
Right.
I'll freaking teach overnight. I don't care. If you are interested to learn, then I am interested to teach you, okay? Because it will help. So that's another way of doing it. And there is something to be said about in-person education, hands-on in-person education. The benefit of getting in-person education is some people are visual. Some people need to touch it, feel it, see it. And then there are little tweaks and nuances that can only be shown in person.
Right.
And to some people, that's really important. That's necessary. Now, there are other people that are highly visual. They don't need the in-person touch. They just are highly visual. That's how they digest information. So then we are creating. I'm actually in the middle of rewriting the script for the voiceover, and I'm going to be and I just have to record my voice lines. I will have the online version of the zero trace bonding technique, available within the month.
Perfect.
And then people can unlock that video. They can sign up for that video, and then they'll just have that video, and they can always defer back to it.
Yeah.
And if you do end up coming in person, I do give the online videos, because that just becomes your manual basically at that point, and you can always refer back to it as well too.
I get that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, and conversely, and I'll actually, since we're talking about the online, if you did take the online version, because I've had this happen before too, we do have other online educational videos that we've already made. They're done. People have watched them, and then they've called and they still have questions. So I've had it backwards. I've had somebody watch an online video first and say, you know what, I still need a hands-on. Come on in. You've already gotten the education. You've already unlocked the education, so I'm not going to charge you anything extra for the hands-on. Come on in. Let's do it. I provide it as a coaching.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's really a testament to what HTB is all about, which
that's our relationship with the people that we serve.
It is. It's great. And guys, if you're an extensionist, check out the zero, or you want to learn it. The zero trace bond technique, it'll blow you away. I watched Eddie show some experienced extensionists at the show a couple of bonds, and they just couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. It was really cool. But it was a cool moment of sharing knowledge, because people, they were just eating it up with a spoon. That was fantastic.
They were so blown away of how small the bond can become, because that's always been the argument is you have this chunk of keratin in the hair. Like, what do you do? And I mean, we are freaking tiny. The technique that we provide to teach you, you're working with practically nothing.
It's awesome.
It
so
really
awesome.
is awesome.
It's really cool. So as we enter into the fourth quarter of our little soiree here.
Do you have a quote?
I have a quote.
I love these motivation quotes.
I know. When I go rummaging around for them, I have to find ones that because I like watching your head kind of spin a little bit during these moments where you have to really think about it. And this one's going to be great for you. Okay.
Okay. So then before you give it, I got to give you credit, because at the show during the live, you gave me a quote and I'm like, I don't like that one. And then you were able to come up with another one right then and there too. And I'm like, okay, I like that one way better. Like, that was cool.
I'm a font of useless information.
I give you a lot of props for all these motivational quotes that you come up with.
It's an interesting deep dive, because I'll go through like 10 or 12 of them going, which one, and then, but really, this one is great. It really is, because it kind of puts everything into perspective for everything that we do, and you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot change anyone, but you can be the reason someone changes. You cannot change anyone, but you can be the reason that someone changes.
Okay. Break that down.
Break it down. I'm going to use you as an example. Okay.
Okay.
And for those of you that, when Eddie and I first met, Eddie was kind of just out of the wilds. He was just separated from the wolf pack that raised him. And Eddie dated a few very lovely young ladies who wanted Eddie to fit into a certain mold. And what did you do when they tried to put you into and change your ways and change you? Yeah, you fought them tooth and nail on that, right?
I broke up with them, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But then along comes a lovely young lady who you happen to marry. And domestic, and you have become domestic, and you have changed your ways drastically. I could share a lot of stories of the old Eddie, but the new Eddie, but you changed because of her. She didn't make you change. You just changed because of her. And I watched it happen. So taking that story and putting it into light, into our lives, I can say the same thing about myself. Okay. I was feral. I was out of control. If I wasn't happy unless I was going 120 miles an hour with back when I had hair and my hair was on fire. And then someone came into my life who changed the way I looked at everything. I was classic for, I would go in through the outdoor, that Far Side comic where it's, the kid pushing against the pull door. That was me. But then someone taught me, it's the same thing. So you can't change people, because when you try to change people, you're going to get resistance. People are going to resist you. But instead, if you lead by example and you lead with gratitude and kindness, usually people come around to your way of doing things. And it's not mind control. It's not anything like that. It's just being that person that someone can look to and go, hey, I want to be like that person. And we all have those people in our lives. And that's what that speaks to me. Now, what does that speak to you?
That's embarrassing, but that's really deep. It's yes.
Oh,
I like this one and I don't like this one. No, I know. I changed my mind. I don't like this one.
too late.
It's too late. Now we're in it, right? It is really okay. Look, whoever's listening, whoever may be listening to this, get a battle buddy, get a mentor, into a relationship, establish a friendship. At a minimum, work with somebody that you can deal with, that can keep you accountable. All right. Even if you don't want to go too deep and personal. Accountability group, something like that is as simple as this. You can meet up with a group of people or just one person once a week or a few times a week. You establish how often, the frequency, what you want to do it on, right? And basically it's like, hey, all right, you and I are talking right now. What do you want to get done by next Friday? Oh, I want to get this, and this done. All right. Well, when do you want me to check in with you? Yeah, Tuesday. All right. So when you check in on Tuesday, hey, buddy, where are you at with this? You said you wanted to get this done. How far along are you so far? Are you on track? Oh, no, this happened, that happened, blah, 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 blah. I got you. It's okay. You just, you wanted me to check in with you to remind you. It's no judgment. It's no, oh, wow, you lazy, excuse, blah, blah. No. It's just accountability, right? It's so important to have something or somebody to have some kind of a purpose to work towards, because nobody can change how you are. You're always going to have some kind of what's the word, resistance, animosity. You're always going to hold resentment. You're always going to hold some level of resentment towards that change.
Right.
And it's going to eat away at you. And when things are going good, it doesn't matter. But when things are down or when things aren't going well, in the bad times, you start going into that deep, dark place in the back of your mind, especially at night when you're all alone and everything's too quiet. There's no distractions of life. You start thinking of some stuff. And that resentment starts creeping up, and it doesn't end well for anybody involved, But when you have that thing, that person, that purpose, you have that partner, you have that friend, you have that battle buddy, you have that relationship, you have that accountability person, however that means to you, when you have somebody there to be a support in some way, shape, or form, it gives you, yeah, it gives you all the motivation and control, security, nurture that you want. And yeah, and it does make you want to change.
Yeah.
And you're changing for yourself. Now, you could change for the good or you could change for the bad. You just have to be very selective of who it is you're choosing to be that person for you, alongside with you for the ride. Don't do it out of desperation or necessity. Do it because you actively want and choose to do so. Don't do it because you're trying to force it at, you can't force something to happen. Yeah.
Right.
I don't like this quote anymore.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
This is you're hitting way too close to the home plate, buddy.
Well, but it
You're
goes hand in
way
hand.
too close to my paranoias and stuff.
We got you in the feels today. We got you right in the feels.
You
But
did.
bottom line, I mean, really, to put this all in a nutshell is be there for someone else. Bottom line, be there for someone else. Whether it be holding someone accountable or just being an ear for someone, be there for someone else and help them make the changes that they may want to make, or just lead by example. And that goes from business all the way down into your personal life. So I like that quote. That's a great quote. I'm going to print that out. That's going on the cork board at home. Yeah, so this is we're at the end here, my friend. We are at the end.
I'm still grateful to you.
Oh, we'll hug later. It's gonna be a big hug, but I get to be the little spoon. Guys, we want to thank you for everything. We track the metrics of this, and every one of you that watches this and likes and shares and subscribes. We greatly appreciate all of you. And we're doing our best to bring some fun, some information, and everything to you guys. So
and apparently some feels.
We're in the fields. We're in our fields. We'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel next week, with some more silliness and information and the normal goofiness that we bring. Thanks, guys. Mash those buttons. We greatly appreciate you, and we will see you all next week.